What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back with another player ratings video. Finally, we get a win on the board. Finally, we're back home, back in N17. How great was that last night?
Oh, it feels so good to be back home, and there's no place like home. Honestly, like, it's been so long. The wait, they really dragged out, didn't they? But you know what? It was worth the wait. So you got to say the stadium was the star of the show yesterday.
100%.
And it's just a relief. And him, yeah, exactly, and him. But it's just a relief that we're finally back in N17 where we're supposed to be. But let's get into the player ratings.
Alright, let's start off with Hugo Lloris. We gave him a 7. I thought kind of did his job, didn't have too much to do throughout the game. But yeah, competent performance, not much really. He wasn't really tested, was he?
It was a relatively quiet performance from Hugo. However, late in the game, in the last 10 minutes, he made 2 very good saves actually. One from Van Aanholt with a cross, which he was a cross which was looping into the top corner. He tipped it just around the post. Then there was one also from Zaha right late on, which he just about got to his legs, which was actually a really good save, underrated. So you got to give him credit for those 2 saves late on, which avoided some nervy moments. But other than that, Palace were pretty woeful, so he didn't have too much to do. Next up, we got Kieran Trippier. We gave him a 7.
Much better from him, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, he dealt with Zaha pretty well. Again, as I said,
Zaha was completely stifled, I thought, the whole game.
He did. So you got to give him Trippier a bit of credit from that in that sense. He didn't. Going forward, maybe he could have done more. It was a competent display. I've seen better from him, I think, in these kind of games. But at least he wasn't getting caught out defensively, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, but I think that had a lot to do with Musa Sissoko as well, because Musa was dropping back into that right-hand side position,
which he does a lot recently, especially with Trippier plays.
So I thought defensively Sissoko helped him out a lot, but a much better performance than we're used to seeing in the last month or two.
Yeah.
Moving on to Ben Davies, we gave him a 7 as well. I thought a good display from him, getting up and down. I thought defensively he was okay, and attackingly I thought he was better defensively than attackingly, but I thought he was a good game. Offensively.
Yeah, no, I think he actually played quite well. I first thought he was going to play in a back 3 on the left-hand side. They decided to put him left back. They moved Rose into midfield, which was an interesting choice. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, I think he played quite well. I have no complaints about Ben Davies. It was a competent 7 out of 10 from him. Like not too good, not too bad. Just okay.
Yeah, and with me, I dig out Ben Davies from time to time, but I think since he's come back from injury, I think he's been pretty good.
Yes,
I have no complaints with him whatsoever.
All right. Next up is Toby Alderweireld. We gave him a 7. Again, I mean, Palace really offered very little going forward. He was pretty solid at the back. He didn't have too much to do. He was good at building attacks. I thought him, not too much to say really. I thought he didn't get caught out, no mistakes. I don't remember too many, long raking balls from him over to the fullback, or the winger, which we're used to seeing. But maybe he just didn't need to. I think it was just a competent display from him.
I felt with Toby it was a really good display from him, but in the first half he was struggling putting passes together, although I can remember quite a few misplaced passes or passes that were intercepted in that first half.
Well, there was one moment he nearly got caught out by Jeff Schlupp in the first half when Schlupp shot over the bar. Other than that...
but he grew into the game second half, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't remember too many misplaced passes, to be honest, but maybe I'm just misremembering.
Alright, move on to Jan Vertonghen, our best defender on the night. We gave him an 8. What can I say? Jan Vertonghen moved back into the new stadium. Jan Vertonghen, he's been at the old stadium, he's been at the new stadium, and he's doing the same things over and over again. Just like, what a guy, what a defender he is. Yeah,
striding forward into midfield like he does. He really was an extra man.
As well.
Yeah, that was a really great ball actually from Sonny into Vertonghen, and it was unfortunately a weak header from Vertonghen, but it was great to see him striding in midfield, giving us that extra man in there, helping us outnumber Palace, and allowing us to control the game as we did. I thought Vertonghen was another great performance, and it's been, obviously we're used to it by now, but again, he's been exceptional.
You're talking about a guy who puts in solid 8 or 9 performances week in, week out. No qualms about it. Sensational.
Fantastic. Next up is Musa Sissoko. We gave him a 9. Man of the match.
The GOAT. The GOAT.
Another absolutely stunning performance. He was all over the place yet again. He could have scored actually. Well, he took it off Harry Kane's toes when he was through 1-on-1, and unfortunately we fluffed that one. But other than that, he was all over the place. He was up and down the pitch, completely controlling the middle of the park.
Was there a blade of grass that he didn't cover?
Probably, I don't think so. I think Milahojlovic couldn't get near him, and there was the most impressive thing for me yesterday was his on the ball play when he surges forward. He was really so hard to get the ball off. Like he was how many times was he surrounded by 2 or 3 players? He was able to wriggle his way past it and start an attack going forward, and it was just so impressive. And he's really just become a really good central midfielder, and I'm so happy for him.
There's no two ways about it. He's our player of the year this season. There's no two ways about it. But in terms of the game yesterday, I think he was a massive part of why Palace was so toothless going forward, because he was just mopping up everything in that centre mid. The Palace midfield just literally couldn't handle him. He was just too good for them.
And going forward as well, he was starting attacks so well. He was charging forward. He was getting past 2-3 players. He was just really hard to stop. And you got to give him.
He was unplayable yesterday.
Yeah, he really was. He was so good. And Palace central midfielders, Milahojlovic, MacArthur, they're decent on their day, and he made them look really average.
All right, move on to Danny Rose. We gave him a 7. A very unconventional role for Danny Rose, wasn't it?
It was a weird
out
one.
on the left wing.
Yeah.
But I thought he'd done well, He puts in that effort that Danny Rose does. He was getting into these good positions, but the one thing I think I would have given him an 8 if his end product was a lot better than what it was, because that was the only thing that was let him down on the night, I think.
I actually read a stat yesterday that he gave away the ball apparently 65 times.
Really?
Ridiculous. Yeah.
65?
No, sorry. Was it? He gave away the ball. I think it was like 30 times on his time on the pitch. He only lasted about 70 minutes.
I think the statistician drank as much as me last night.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't remember him giving the ball away hardly.
Yeah, because he did. Apparently, he actually gave the ball away quite a lot. However, it's not his natural position, so it's understandable. I actually think he performed quite well, given the fact that he's a left back and he playing in midfield. I agree with you, his end product wasn't great. There was one moment, especially in the first half, I remember he had a really good chance to get a shot off on the left hand side. He decided to try and square it in it, and it got easily cut up by the Palace defender. But given the fact that it's not his natural position, I think he performed well. However, I don't know if I would like to see him in that position again. I don't know if it would be great.
I'm not so sure. I thought it was a good performance, and if he can improve in his crossing, then we're talking about a really good performance, and he could have come away with 2-3 assists.
Maybe. I don't know about that.
Well, 1 or 2 assists at least.
Moving on to Dele Alli, we gave him a 6. A pretty average display from him. I think he's actually been quite decent since he come back from injury. I think, against Southampton and against Liverpool, I thought he actually was one of our brighter sparks. But in this game, he was in a bit of a deeper role. Wasn't getting too involved going forward. Defensively, he was all right. It was just one of those games that passed him by, really.
Yeah, like you said, I don't think he did too much good going forward, too much bad going forward, and the same defensively or in the midfield. But I think he was kind of overshadowed by Sissoko, because that Sissoko was just brilliant, just covered every single blade of grass. But yeah, that's too much on it, Dele Alli.
Yeah, just an average display.
Moving on to Christian Eriksen, we gave him an 8. A lot of fans have been digging him out for his performance yesterday, but I don't get it, because I think he created our most important or our best chances of the game. Great assist and a great reaction goal to when Kane missed, or was it a misplaced pass or a shot or something?
Well, he kind of got fouled or whatever. Could have been a penalty. But I think Eriksen was fantastic yesterday. People were digging him out. People around me, the guy row behind me, every time Eriksen touched the ball was like effing and blinding about Eriksen, get out of my club, all that. And I don't understand it. He was actually really good yesterday. He created 5 clear-cut chances, which is more than anyone on the pitch. He ran more than anyone else. His assist as well came from a tackle that he made. He tackled one of the Palace players. And
I was watching that on Match of the Day after. That was brilliant work from Eriksen.
Yeah, and that pass to Lucas right at the end as well was absolutely on the money with his left foot. Yeah. Was absolutely astounding. And again, goal and assist on the opening game of the new stadium. I don't understand what people could complain about. I understand, people have fears about him leaving, and it does look quite likely at this point. But I don't think he's not playing for the show at the moment. I know he's been off form maybe of late, but I think yesterday, I think he put in a really, really good display, and I was very happy with what I saw. And I don't understand people after the game on fan cams digging him out, saying he didn't play well, and apart from the goal and assist, he did nothing. I think it's completely untrue, and he was our most creative player yesterday, and I think he played really well.
Yeah, I kind of echo those thoughts, but I could see people's frustrations with Eriksen over the past 2 months, and including me. I've been one to call him out and stuff like that, but for that performance yesterday, you can only say like well done and great performance.
Yeah, exactly. Which just frustrates me. I think it clouds people's judgment.
Yeah.
That that they fear he's leaving, and they think everything he does is bad, and it's just not true.
All right, moving on.
Moving on to Heung-min Son, we gave him a 7. The first goal at the new stadium goes to Sonny. I know it was a deflection. It was a nice move. Good play from Eriksen into good pass into him. It was a good little bit of trickery, and he forced it home. He was fairly anonymous most of the game. He was getting involved, but he wasn't testing the keeper enough. He did actually test him in the first half, and it was a howler from the keeper. Nearly gave Son a goal there. But who better to get the first goal maybe than Heung-min Son, who's had a great season, and he deserves it.
Yeah, topped it off with the first competitive goal at the new White Hart Lane, new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But I think the effort from Sonny was there. He was trying the whole time, trying to make stuff happen, but I think the Palace defence did a good job on him, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, can't complain with the first goal, and all the South Koreans coming to the stadium for the first time will be loving that.
Yeah, he was trying things, he was trying to make things happen. Nothing quite worked out for him, but he's playing in that forward role rather than the wide role. As I said before, maybe he needs to go back to the wide role to rediscover his best form, because he's kind of been struggling with that partnership with Kane, I feel.
But it's since he's come back from Asia, we've said it before, he doesn't have particularly good games, but still pops up with a goal here and there.
He's done the same thing.
So he's done the same thing again. All right, moving on to Harry Kane, we gave him a 7. I thought it was a really good display from Harry Kane. I thought he pretty much did everything apart from score. There was that chance where he kind of went 1-1 with the keeper in the second half, which I really thought he should have slotted that. Free kick just wide. But, the Harry Kane, a proper on-form Harry Kane probably would have slotted that, especially in the game, because it looked like he was desperate to score, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he should have taken that with his left foot. I think it was probably more suited. I don't know, he kind of tried to curl it in with his right and it went over the bar. It wasn't a great finish. But apart from that, I thought he played fairly well throughout the game. I think his passing was pretty on point. I think he did a good job for the team, and you always know with Harry Kane, even if he's not going to get a goal, that he will still do a good job for the team. So
he pretty much did everything apart from score, didn't he? He looked up for it.
He was very involved in the second goal as well. He kind of made that happen. So I think he was a all-round decent display. Not obviously he didn't score, wasn't his best, but I think it was all right.
All right. Moving on to Pochettino, we gave him an 8. Team selection, what did you think?
Yeah, it was interesting. Obviously, he played Danny Rose in that midfield position, which we haven't seen him before play there. It kind of worked out in the context of the game. It worked out for us, I think. I think he did a decent job there. It's not something which I think he should be playing again or often, but I think it worked out on this occasion. I think he kind of gave Crystal Palace a lot of problems down that left-hand side, and he was a constant source for us. He was an outlet.
Yeah, it was just a shame about the end product.
Yeah, so I think it was an interesting choice. It worked out, but I think he did a good job. I think I can't complain. I was maybe a bit harsh to drop Lucas. I thought who came on and did quite well. Because I think he's been one of our better players the past 2 games. Lucas Moura.
He's probably been our best attacking outlet in the last 2 Southampton Liverpool game anyway.
It was harsh to drop him, but Son came in and scored, so how much you can't really fault him too much for that. And
it's harsh in itself to keep Son out the team for more than a game anyway.
Yeah, and so it was our first win after 5 games without a win. Our first win in 6, so he deserves a lot of credit to kind of getting us out of that rut, and we're back in the top 4 race. We've got a big race coming up. It's going to be so tight with all the other teams who are coming into form.
Think we're going to do it?
I think we're going to do it with our home form, with our home games we've got left to play. 4 at the new stadium of the 6 left. Arsenal have 5 away games left of their 7, so I can see them dropping points in those games. I'm still confident we're going to get that 3rd place, but we just need to win our home games. Out of all of
them, we've got the most favourable fixtures, especially having 4 out of the 6 at home.
Yeah.
When you look at the Arsenal fixtures, they've probably got 2nd most favourable, but they've got 4 of their last 6 away.
People say that, but I don't know. I'm not so sure. People say they do, but the fact they have 5 away games and they're not easy away games. I'm talking
just in terms of the teams they're playing.
Yeah, but I think in the fixtures, I don't think they're that favourable. I think those 5 away games, Everton, Leicester, Wolves, Watford and Burnley, they're all banana skin kind of games. Every single game, there's potential there to drop points.
Yeah.
So
when you look at Chelsea's fixtures and Man United's fixtures, they've got even more banana skin games. They even have to play each other, which is a big plus for us and Arsenal.
Yeah, and United still have to play City as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of big games.
And Chelsea got to go to Anfield as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of big games to come in the run-in. So I think it's going to be a tight one. I'm still confident we can last the distance and we get that top four.
You'd like to think if we win our remaining home games left, that's enough to see us through.
I think we should be all right. I know our form kind of dropped dramatically the last 5 games, but luckily we've kind of come out of it still in the top 4. And we've got that win under our belt now, so hopefully we can take that into the rest of the season and use that stadium as to galvanise us and to kind of have a good end to the season. Hopefully the Champions League run as well can help us propel us into a good momentum. So I'm hoping for a good end to the season. I'm confident. I'm still confident for a 3rd place finish.
And lastly, the stadium.
That was man of the match. It was the star of the show. Absolutely fantastic, that stadium. I mean, there was an air of there was an air of like people were kind of nervous, maybe because maybe our home form.
I was absolutely shitting myself before the game.
Because
not only was it such an important game because it's the first game in our new stadium, but it's such an important game as well. On top of that, 3 points was ultimately so vital.
I think everyone calmed down once we got that first goal. I think and I think the team calmed down as well. For first half, it was kind of like no one wanted to really make any mistakes. Even though we were on top and creating half chances, not too many clear cut, but the stadium was so loud. I think the atmosphere when it got going, when it was loud, it was really loud and was really effective. And it was and the opening ceremony, whether it was could have done more with it, or it was okay.
It was basically like the closing ceremony at White Hart Lane, wasn't it?
Yeah, the fireworks show was nice. So
yeah, that was nice. All those pictures
cool.
coming out, brilliant.
Yeah. So there was some good imagery there.
But everywhere you walk in that stadium, there's a little pieces of White Hart Lane. A lot of the times, and I know many Arsenal fans say this, and definitely a lot of West Ham fans say this, is that especially for the first year or when they first walked into that stadium, it didn't feel like home. It just felt like another stadium.
But this feels like
this home. Actually, the first time I ever walked in there, it looks like White Hart Lane. You see the West Stand is exactly like the West Stand, like it was at White Hart Lane.
And that pitch has that feel to it.
Exactly, and it's basically, I've said it so many times, it's like White Hart Lane on steroids.
Yeah, so, Daniel Levy deserves all the credit in the world for delivering us a stadium that's up to what he's promised. And more probably. And all the ideas of, keeping the ground open after the game and things like that, all goes to show that they've really thought about the stadium and really everything they've thought about is coming to fruition now.
Well, yeah, the only thing is that, like Poch said, we've got this big stadium, this big world-class stadium now, best in the world. Now we just need to start acting like a big team and spend some money.
Correct. And now we have those profits of a world record profits of over 100 million. Surely some of that has to go on the squad. And you have to think so. And we're now the excuse of us not being able to match the top clubs financially is going to start wearing thin soon, because our revenue is now getting very close to the top clubs. It's 380 million. It's not quite 590 million of United, but Arsenal's 400 million. Chelsea's about 450 million. So we're catching up on them. And so that excuse that we can't compete financially, it's going to start wearing thin if we don't start investing in the squad. So there you have it. That's what you got to leave you with.
So we're off to Manchester next week. There's no game this weekend.
No,
we're not off to Manchester. No, we're not. We are back at home next week against Man City in the first leg of the Champions League, which promises to be a cracker. So you're going to get all the content revolving that game. You're going to get a collab with Man City Fans TV, a vlog, your fan cams after the game. So check out for that.
Biggest game of the season.
Biggest game of the season. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.